Jamie, I'd like you to cast your mind back to your days in the Old West. Okay, supposedly there's a cowboy myth from back then that you could disarm an opponent with your pistol without harming them.
You mean you can shoot a gun out of their hand?
Exactly.
I was wondering when we'd get around to that one.
The time has come.
Back in the Old West, any good guy gunslinger worthy of a sheriff's badge could supposedly disarm the bad guy with a single sharp shooting shot. But is this really possible? And would you really leave him and any bystanders totally unharmed?
Mine may not be so good the next time.
So, cowboy, since you were there, you want to tell us how it worked in the Old West?
Well, there are two parts to this. The first is unarmed and the second is unharmed. Which do you want to start with?
Well, I'm thinking, how much force can you hold on to a gun with? Let's make a plywood cowboy, give him the same amount of holding strength, and take some shots at him.
Easier said than done, but we can give it a shot.
So, first up, Quick Draw Savage sketches a plywood posse. And to give his trio of tangerine bad guys accurate handgun-holding abilities, Jamie knuckles down and gets a grip.
This stuff right here is some of our favorite stuff to have around because it's like hook and loop, but it's actually hermaphroditic. It sticks to itself. Ah, perfect.
Next, the team saddles up and heads on down to the range, the gun range.
It looks great. An orange posse of trouble. We're gonna have to shoot their guns out of their hands.
So I'm standing in the Chabot gun range, site of several other Wild West myth adventures by the MythBusters, including Son of a Gun.
I think he did it.
Gunslingers.
You kidding me?
And What is Bulletproof, both 1 and 2. This time, to answer the question, could this, the primary sidearm of the Old West, be used in a non-violent fashion? I.e., could you use this to shoot one of these out of your opponent's hand and disarm him?
Hey, Adam, come check this out.
What do you got?
This is my human hand grip simulator.
I love it. How do you want to test it?
If you hold on to this gun,
Okay.
and I yank it out of your hand and see what that feels like. All right?
Feel like you got something?
Yeah, I'll have you hold on to this thing just securely, and I'll yank it out of there. And if I feel like they're the same, then we're in business. That's spot on.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's mount it up and shoot at this puppy.
Okay.
The gun is placed in the bad guy's grip simulator as if midway through the draw. And with the help of a sharp-shooting laser, Adam and Jamie take aim, ready to fire.
Perfect.
Quick Draw Savage and Hairy Jim Heineman want to know if you can shoot the gun out of the bad guy's hand without harming him. And by testing 3 classic configurations, the draw, the shootout, and the hostage, we're about to find out.
Here we go. Shooting a gun out of the hands. On the draw. 3, 2, 1. Wow, it knocked it right out.
So it did.
That might be a result.
But it's a result in more ways than one.
Some collateral damage.
Because although he was disarmed, he was also harmed.
Wow.
That bullet went in all directions, or at least pieces of it did.
It really did. That is terrifying. Look at that.
That's a little dose of reality you don't see in the movies. Deadly shrapnel flying in all directions. Walking away unscathed is clearly not a given, meaning the myth is already looking shaky. But what's next?
Right, here's the scenario. Our bad guy's actually gotten his gun out of the draw and into a firing position.
Shoot first.
Our hero still has to try and shoot that pistol out of his hand non-lethally. That's what we're gonna try.
On your mark.
Shooting a gun out of a hand in a shootout position. 3, 2, 1.
Right there. You seeing it? Well, I know that we hit our gun, because that's a piece of it. Let's go inspect. Dude, you see where I hit this? This is behind the chamber. In order to knock this out, I had to have fired down the cylinder.
Pretty good shooting there, Tex.
An interesting trick shot, but because the bullet didn't get full purchase on the gun, perhaps not ideal for this test. So, let's try that again.
Shooting the gun out of the hand in shootout position. 3, 2, 1. I saw shrapnel go everywhere.
Yep, shrapnel went everywhere.
Oh, that is some nasty damage.
And the gun stayed put. It didn't drop because the profile of the gun meant that there wasn't enough leverage, meaning this scenario is busted on both counts.
Next, we are positing that he's pointing the gun at someone else, and we're gonna hit it in the side. I personally have high hopes for this one.
Shooting the gun out of the hand in the hostage position. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Success!
Looks like it.
No damage to the hand.
No,
I don't see any damage to the cowboy behind him either.
no. In the hostage position, we can see that the bullet got caught squarely on the gun and delivered most of its energy.
Nice shooting, inanimate shooter.
That, in combination with the fact that there was a little leverage going like this as a result of that hit, meant that this actually came out of the guy's hand.
So the orientation of the gun drastically alters the disarming outcome. But as for the unharmed half of the myth, well, there's a whole lot of lead flying around.
Remember, if you're shooting the gun out of someone's hand, it's because you don't want to hurt them and you definitely don't want to kill them. And our two cowboys here have sustained a lot of damage. Every piece of yellow tape represents either a graze, which would cut you, or a hit that really might kill you. We've got a lot of time to aim, more time than a cowboy would have. This leads me to believe this might not be the most efficacious method for disarming someone safely.
Adam and Jamie have been testing whether you can shoot the gun out of your opponent's hand, leaving them unarmed and unharmed. The unharmed department is not looking so good.
That is some nasty damage.
And although the bad guys dropped their gun in 2 out of the 3 positions, Adam is not convinced unarmed is working out either.
The gun didn't fall out.
He thinks there's a missing human link. But with shooting at each other out of the question, how do they test this safely?
We're only testing one metric of the gun holder, which is his grip strength holding onto the gun. And I think there may be other factors involved. Specifically, I want to know what it's like for that shooter when that shock force is applied to the gun. So, coming up, one subjective shock force test.
And this is Adam's plan. In this test, he's pulling some strings to narrow down the element of surprise. He'll give Jamie an unexpected short, sharp jolt, simulating the shock of having your handgun shot out of your hand.
Just don't look that way.
I'll look this way.
There you go. I'm hoping this simulates to some degree what it's like to hold onto a gun that's been shot.
Jamie, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Jamie, hold the gun in the correct orientation. That's great. Now, I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to drop it. It got knocked out of your hand.
It did.
How did that feel?
Well, when you're not expecting it, it's like pretty aggressive.
So the surprise of our little string pull experiment made you drop the gun, eh?
It did, but you know, I somehow imagined that a real bullet hitting the gun would have more sting to it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think I've got a rig in my head that might be able to add that to the mix.
Okay then.
So what is it like when one of these gets shot out of your hand? I think that it would sting like hell. I think it'd be like hitting something hard with a baseball bat. So what I'm gonna do is take this pistol, use it as a template to take an aluminum plate, put some gun handles on it, and a big paddle out here. See where I'm going with this? And then I'm gonna have Jamie hit that paddle with something like a baseball bat and see how hard it is to hold on. I think I might wanna let go immediately.
We're getting close.
you don't know this about me, but I have a particular penchant for objects that were clearly made for a very specific function, and yet what that function might be has been lost to time. And this definitely falls into that category. Ta-da! I'm very pleased. I can state without reservation, this is my favorite thing I've ever built for this show. Yeah. If you will hold that.
And with a little help from Slugger Heineman, Adam is going to put his new favorite toy to the test.
I'm just trying to think, how much damage could I sustain from this? It's just gonna sting. Okay. My eyes are closed. Wow! Ow! Yeah. No, there's no way you'd be holding on to that thing. God, that hurt.
And here's how much it hurt in glorious, technicolored, 1,000 frames a second slow motion.
Ow, that looks painful.
Yeah, it definitely was a stinging, ringing sensation. Wow! Ow!
The shock and the pain in Adam's face was really evident, and may I say also really satisfying. But how does that relate to a bullet hitting a gun in terms of energy transfer? Well, on the one hand, we have a bat, 800 grams. It was traveling 85 miles per hour, and that gives us a potential energy of 428 foot-pounds force. On the other hand, we have a bullet, 15 grams, traveling 613 miles per hour, and the potential energy there is 416 foot-pounds force. Those numbers are basically the same, and yet somehow I'm not going to be satisfied unless I get something really close to an actual bullet hitting an actual gun and one of us holding on to it.
Jamie enjoyed disarming Adam.
Yeah.
But although the force of that hit is comparable to a bullet, they're not satisfied the subjective experience is the same. So without resorting to shooting at each other, an obvious no-no, Jamie's come up with an ingenious plan that will exactly recreate the experience.
As we know, Newton's third law says that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if I were to make a gun that fires a bullet in the exact opposite direction that an incoming bullet would have hit it at, then my reaction, being the guy that's holding the gun, should be exactly the same.
A double-barreled handgun that is the perfect embodiment of Newton's third law, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The bullet fired will push back on the handheld barrel with the same force as the target gun would receive. In a word, genius.
What do you call it?
I call it Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
I love it! Well, let's test it out.
Okay.
But outside in the bunker, the testing reveals an unforeseen design flaw.
Oh, well, that's a little bit of a letdown.
That's a lot of a letdown. It didn't work at all.
Well, Newton's law may work, but this one didn't. Turns out that these bullets are only made to go off when the primer is hit, and they don't like to go off with a fuse. So I've got to go back to the drawing board.
A subtle modification or two, and our gun guru soon gets a handle on the situation.
Have you got a solution yet?
Actually, I do. You're going to love this. It's simple. We didn't need to go to the trouble of making two separate barrels. All we need to do is have two separate handles. It's the same equal and opposite reaction.
Ingenious. I love it.
So it's Newton's Law Mark II, and it works like this. While holding the handle, the real gun is fired remotely, imparting an equal and opposite force of the bullet to the hand gripping the handle. Genius. Again. And back down at the gun range, Jamie's design has got Adam's entrepreneurial juices flowing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a special surprise for you today. From MythBusters Labs and Heinemania Industries comes a mix of Hoosier ingenuity and total insanity. I bring to you the Heinemann Roulette 6000. Yes, with this gun, not only can you play the most advanced game of Russian roulette ever devised, but every shot is a surprise, keeping life on the uncertain footing it was always meant to be. Buy yours today. So let's recap. We're testing the Old West myth that you can shoot a gun out of your opponent's hand, leaving him unarmed and unharmed. I gotta say, in the unharmed department, it's not looking very good. There's a lot of shrapnel created when a lead bullet hits a steel pistol. But in the disarmed department, everything we've been testing so far says that it's looking pretty good. But pretty good isn't good enough for us. It's time to put the finishing touches on this myth and finally put it to bed.
Here's how it's going to work. Adam will be holding Newton's Law Mark II by the second handle.
There you go.
Like that.
Jamie will pull the trigger remotely, maintaining that crucial element of surprise.
Okay, Tex. If he blinks, shoot him.
And the bullet will push back on Adam's hand with equal force to that of a bullet hitting the gun.
First up is the draw position. In this scenario, I am just pulling my gun out of its holster when Sheriff Buster there takes a crack shot, hitting my sidearm on its top. From everything we've tested so far, I think I'm gonna drop that gun.
Okay, the gun is hot.
Understood. All right, draw position. Fire when ready, I guess. Oh! That is scary as hell.
You didn't drop it, though.
Not even close.
And you weren't ready for it.
I was totally not ready for it. It lacked all the shock of the target pistol hitting the baseball bat. It didn't have any of that kind of pain aspect to it. It was more like a dull thud. So, I didn't drop that gun. And from everything we've seen so far, I totally didn't expect that result. So, Jamie's gonna have a go with it. All right, you ready, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And then we'll see where we stand. He dropped it.
Yep, jumping Jamie Heineman
It's a shock.
was decidedly disarmed.
You can see clearly in this clip how my hand is being twisted by the gun as it receives the impact from the bullet, and it's being pushed right beyond the grasp of my fingers.
With Adam holding on and Jamie surprised into letting go, the draw position ends in a draw.
Next up is the hostage position. In this scenario, I'm not pointing the gun at Sheriff Buster, but at Jamie here. And to protect his friend Jamie, Sheriff Buster takes a crack shot at the side of my gun. And from everything we've seen so far, I think I'm dropping that gun like a hot potato.
Me too.
All right, hostage position. You may fire when I'm not ready. I didn't let go.
I noticed that. Admit it, you're clenching.
I'm not clenching. You gotta have a turn. Your turn. Here you go.
Interesting. Jamie's suggesting it's more about your mental and physical preparedness than the actual forces at play. Let's see.
Mr. Heineman in a hostage position.
When's it gonna be?
And he dropped it again. This is fascinating.
What I'm seeing is that this isn't so much about the force that it takes to remove this gun from my hand. It's about the reaction that I have to the jolt that I'm feeling, and it makes me jump, and I let go.
Editors, can I get a split screen, please, of that last test? Thank you. Now, you may be wondering, looking at this, why I'm holding on to my pistol while Jamie lets go of his. This could be explained by the fact that I endured so much pain holding on to the target pistol that I built while Jamie hit it with a baseball bat. Yeah, like that I'm inured to the shock and pain of this new rig. But really, I think it comes down to something else. I think it's just the fact that everyone's a little bit different, and that means that this technique, shooting a gun out of your opponent's hand, is never going to be a surefire technique.
But they're not done yet. Sheriff Buster, Jumpin' Jamie Heineman, and Adam Clench Savage have yet to test the shootout position.
We no longer need the secondary handle. This is very much like naturally shooting a gun. I'll be pointing the gun directly at my cowboy down there, except the only difference is Jamie will be activating the trigger without my knowledge. That is terrifying.
You still didn't let it go.
No, I don't think I was putting too much pressure on it. I don't think I'm clenching.
And that just leaves Jamie.
Yeah, I held on to it. I mean, it's funny. It shocks you the same way the others do, but it pushes itself deeper into your hand.
Well, the gun is built to take force in exactly that direction. I think of all the shooting positions, this one's the least likely to be knocked out of your hand.
So it's been a Russian roulette of results, but a result there is.
It's clear from our testing that shooting a gun out of somebody's hand should be your very last option. For one thing, that gun is a tiny target, and you pretty much have to hit it on a bullseye to have any effect. Secondly, if you do hit the gun, the shrapnel or ricochets are likely to actually hurt your guy. So where do we stand with this one?
Well, partner, I think we're going to call this myth plausible, but far from a surefire way to disarm your opponent.
But the idea that you could do so safely, totally busted.
I agree. Let's go.
So if you do ever find yourself in a Western duel, know this. You might be able to shoot the gun out of someone's hand, but chances are someone's gonna get hurt.